The night was quiet, but his mind was loud. He lay awake, staring at the dark ceiling, listening to his own breath. Outside, the world slept. Inside, something refused to rest. He felt tired, but not the kind of tired that comes from work. It was a deeper tiredness, the kind that comes from feeling lost. This was not the first night like this. For many years, he had tried to change his life. He had read books. He had watched videos. He had promised himself, tomorrow will be different. But tomorrow always came the same way. Same habits, same excuses, same regret. He did not feel weak, but he did not feel strong either. He felt unfinished. Just before dawn, he finally sat up. He did not reach for his phone. He did not check the time. He simply sat there, breathing slowly. Something inside him whispered a thought he could not ignore. If nothing changes, nothing will change. That morning, he went outside before the sun rose. The street was empty. No cars, no voices, just cold air and silence. He walked slowly, feeling the ground under his feet. Each step felt heavier than it should. His body was there, but his mind was still running, thinking about mistakes, failures, and time wasted. He stopped near a small park and sat on a bench. That was when he remembered the words. He had read them once. Long ago, but never understood them fully. Master yourself, and you will master life itself. Miyamoto Musashi. At that moment, the words felt different. They did not sound like motivation. They sounded like a warning. He asked himself a question that made his chest feel tight. If I cannot control my own mind, what exactly am I trying to control? The sun slowly appeared on the horizon. Soft light touched the trees. Birds began to move. The world woke up, calm, focused. Alive, he realized something painful. Life was not fighting him. He was fighting himself. When he returned home, the noise came back. Messages, distractions, old habits calling him again. He almost fell back into them, almost. But that morning had planted a seed. That day, he did something small. He did not try to change everything. He chose one thing. He cleaned his room, not fast, not angry, slowly, with attention. He noticed how often his mind tried to escape the task, how quickly he wanted to quit, how uncomfortable silence felt, and that was the first lesson. The problem was not the task. The problem was his mind running away. Later that evening, he opened a notebook. The page was blank. He stared at it for a long time. His hand felt heavy. Finally, he wrote one simple line. I will not try to control the world. I will start with myself. That night, he slept better than he had in weeks. The next morning, he woke up early again. This time, it was harder. His body wanted comfort. His mind wanted excuses. A voice inside said, you can skip today. You deserve rest. He almost listened, but then he remembered something important. Discipline is not loud. It is quiet. It whispers, not shouts. He got up. He did not feel powerful. He did not feel motivated. He simply acted. Days passed. Some mornings he won. Some mornings he failed. But something strange began to happen. He started noticing himself. When anger came, he saw it. When fear came, he watched it. When laziness appeared, he did not fight it. He observed it. This was new, before emotions controlled him. Now, he was learning to sit with them, like clouds passing through the sky. One evening, While walking alone, he saw his reflection in a shop window. For a moment, he did not recognize himself. Not because he looked stronger, but because his eyes were calmer. Still, the struggle was not over. In fact, it had just begun that night. Someone knocked on his door. No message, no call. Just a knock. He opened it. No one was there. On the floor lay a small envelope. No name, no address. He picked it up and closed the door. Inside was a single piece of paper. Only one word was written on it. Control. His heart beat faster. He did not know who sent it. He did not know what it meant. But deep inside, he felt it. This was not a coincidence. This was a challenge. And he knew one thing for sure. Now, the real battle was not outside. It was within, and he had only taken his first step. The words stayed in his mind all night. Control. It was not written in a soft way. It felt heavy, like a command. He did not know who sent the note, but he knew why it scared him. Because control was the one thing he had always avoided. He liked comfort. He liked ease. Control meant effort. Control meant saying no to himself. The next morning, he woke before the alarm. This time, fear woke him. He sat on the edge of the bed and held his head in his hands. His mind started talking again. You are taking this too seriously. You will quit like always. You are not built for this. He listened, and for the first time, he did not argue. He let the thoughts speak. Then he stood up anyway. That morning, he made a rule. Not a big rule. A painful one. No distractions before sunrise. No phone. No music. No noise. Just him and silence. The silence felt unbearable. Without noise, his past became louder. Mistakes returned. Regret walked beside him. Every unfinished promise stood in front of him, like a mirror. He wanted to escape, but he remembered Musashi's words again. Master yourself. So he stayed. Minutes felt like hours. His body shifted. His breath became heavy. His mind tried every trick to pull him away. This was not peace. This was war. Later that day, something unexpected happened. At work, a problem appeared. Normally, he would panic. He would rush. He would complain. But this time, he paused. Just one breath. Then another. He spoke slower. He listened more. The problem did not disappear, but he did not collapse either. Someone noticed. A coworker looked at him and said, "You seem different." The words hit him harder than praise. Different meant visible. That night, doubt returned. If people notice, you will fail in front of them. He almost broke his rule. His phone sat beside him, glowing softly. Comfort was one touch away. He stared at it. His hand moved, then stopped. He turned the phone, face down. That moment hurt more than expected. He realized something painful and true. Discipline hurts because it kills the version of you that wants comfort without effort. The days continued. Some days he won. Some days he failed. But failure was no longer the end. When he failed, he did not punish himself. He returned to the rule. One morning, while walking before sunrise, rain started falling, cold, sharp, unforgiving. His body wanted to turn back. Instead, he kept walking. Each step felt like a quiet promise. Later that week, he tested himself. He chose one task he always avoided. One thing he had delayed for months. He sat down and worked on it without escape. His chest felt tight. His mind screamed. His hands trembled, but he did not stop. When he finished, the room felt different, not louder, calmer. That night he wrote in his notebook again, "Control is not force. It is staying when you want to run." But the test was not over. The next day, he received a message, an invitation, a public challenge. Someone had seen his change. Someone wanted to test it. They wanted him to speak, to respond, to prove himself in front of others. His stomach tightened. This was not practice anymore. This was exposure. His old self would have refused, or reacted with anger, or tried to impress. This time, he closed his eyes. He took one breath, then another, and he whispered to himself, "If I can control myself there, I can control myself anywhere." He accepted that night. He could not sleep, not from fear of losing, but from fear of seeing who he truly was. Because once you face the world calmly, there is no hiding from yourself, and tomorrow the world would be watching. The room was full, too full. Voices mixed together. Laughter, whispers, judgment, all moving in the air like invisible hands. He stood near the back, feeling his heartbeat slow but heavy. This was the moment. The challenge he accepted was not about skill. It was about presence, about standing still while others watched, waited, and judged. He remembered how he used to feel in places like this, nervous, defensive, hungry for approval. Now, he felt something different. Stillness. When his name was called, the noise softened. Eyes turned toward him. He walked forward, not fast, not slow. Each step felt measured, controlled. Someone in the crowd smiled in a sharp way. The challenger spoke first. The words were clever, sharp, designed to cut. He questioned his change, mocked his calm, laughed at the idea of self-mastery. The old him would have reacted. The old him would have interrupted, tried to prove something, tried to win, but this time he did nothing. He listened. Silence followed. It stretched longer than comfort allowed. The crowd shifted. Some looked confused. Others leaned forward. Then he spoke, not loud, not fast. He asked one simple question: "Why does my calm make you angry?" The room froze. The challenger hesitated. The question had no sharp edge to fight, no attack to block. Silence returned. In that silence, something changed. The crowd felt it. People stopped waiting for drama. They started listening, not to words, to energy, to control. The challenger tried again. Louder this time. More emotion, more force. But force needs resistance, and there was none. He stood relaxed, breathing slow, eyes steady, not superior, not weak present. The challenger burned himself out. The crowd saw it. Whispers turned into understanding. Judgment turned into curiosity, without shouting, without attacking. He had won, but victory did not feel loud. It felt empty. After the event, someone approached him. A friend from his past. Someone who liked his old fire. "You should have destroyed him," the friend said. People wanted to see strength. He looked at his friend carefully. "Strength doesn't need an audience," he replied. The friend walked away. Disappointed, that was the cost. That night, doubt returned. He sat alone, replaying the moment. Not with pride, but with honesty. Had he hidden behind silence? Or had he mastered himself? Sleep came late. The next morning, another message arrived. An offer, Not a challenge this time, an opportunity, a comfortable one. They wanted his calm, his control, but only if he stayed quiet, only if he followed their rules, only if he stopped questioning safety in exchange for obedience. He held the message in his hands. This was not a fight. This was temptation, and it was more dangerous than any enemy. He looked at his notebook and wrote one line: control without truth becomes a cage. He knew what the next test would be, not in public, not in noise, but in comfort, and comfort had defeated him before. The offer looked clean, no risk, no struggle, no uncertainty. It promised safety, a stable position, respect, a quiet life without questions. All he had to do was accept their rules and stop pushing against the current. For a moment, he imagined it. Late mornings, easy smiles, no pressure to grow, no fear of failing in public again, just comfort. His body relaxed at the thought. That scared him, because comfort had always been his weakness. He took a walk that evening. The city lights flickered on as the sky darkened. People passed him, busy with their own lives. Everyone chasing something, or avoiding something. He asked himself a hard question. If I take this offer, who do I become? The answer came slowly. He would become quieter, not in a powerful way, but in a careful way. He would start measuring his words, hiding his thoughts, softening his truth to protect his place. That night, he slept poorly. In his dreams, he saw himself sitting in a warm room with locked doors. Everything he needed was there, but the windows were closed. No air, no light. He woke up breathing hard. The next day, he met the people behind the offer. They spoke kindly. They praised his calm. They admired his control. But behind every compliment was a condition. Just don't challenge too much. Stay within limits. People like peace, not questions. He nodded, listening. Inside, something tightened. They were not asking him to lie. They were asking him to stay silent. That evening, he faced his hardest test yet. A situation appeared where silence would protect him, and truth would cost him. If he spoke honestly, he would lose the offer. Maybe more if he stayed quiet. His life would become easier overnight. His hands shook as he held his phone. He remembered the mornings of silence, the walks in the rain, the nights he chose discipline over escape. Was all of that for comfort? He closed his eyes, and he spoke the truth, not with anger, not with pride, just truth. The response came fast. The offer disappeared. Messages stopped. Doors closed. Invitations ended by night. He felt alone. No applause. No support. Only quiet. For the first time since his change began, he questioned everything. Was I wrong? Was this worth it? He sat in his room, staring at the wall. Then he noticed something. The quiet felt different. Now, not empty, clear. He realized something important. Comfort makes life easy, but it also makes it small. That night, another message arrived, not from powerful people, from someone young, someone who had watched him speak calmly, who had seen him choose truth. The message was simple: because of you. I started waking up early. His chest tightened. He opened his notebook one last time that night and wrote, "Mastery is not about winning. It is about choosing who you become." Outside, the wind moved through the trees. He felt tired, but not lost. He knew the final lesson was close. Not loud, not dramatic, but deep. The message stayed with him, not because it praised him, but because it reflected something real. Someone had changed, not by his words, but by his example. That morning he woke before the sun again. No alarm, no pressure, just habit. He stepped outside as the sky slowly turned from dark to soft blue. The world felt wide and quiet. He walked until he reached a small, open place near the edge of the city. In the center was a simple stone. No sign, no meaning written on it. He sat beside it and breathed. For the first time, he did not feel like he was chasing control. He felt like he was practicing it. He understood something that Musashi had tried to teach long ago. Mastery is not about defeating others. It is about repeating small actions until the mind becomes steady. He remembered how far he had come, from noise to silence, from reaction to response, from comfort to choice. Life had not become easy. Problems still appeared. Fear still visited. Doubt still whispered. But now none of them ruled him. He had learned how to stay. When anger came, he paused. When fear arose, he breathed. When comfort called, he questioned it. This was the real discipline, not forced awareness. Later that day, he met the young person who had sent the message. They did not ask for advice. They did not ask for secrets. They just watched him work quietly. How he focused. How he listened. How he did not rush. Without knowing it, he was teaching that evening. He opened his notebook for the last time in the story. He wrote 3 simple rules. Start before you feel ready. Stay when it becomes uncomfortable. Choose truth over ease. He closed the notebook. The lesson was complete, not because life was mastered, but because he was no longer fighting himself. As the sun set, he smiled slightly, not from pride, from peace, because he finally understood the meaning of the words. Master yourself, and you will master life itself. Life does not bend to force. It responds to control from within, and the strongest people in the world are often the quietest. If you are waiting to change your life, do not wait for motivation. Start with control. One morning, one choice, one breath. Master yourself, and life will follow.